When the evening settles and the golden light fades from the sky, our cities change. The streets grow quieter, the air cools, and shadows begin to stretch across the pavement. People hurry home to warm kitchens, to laughter, to lights that glow softly through curtains. And yet, if you pause for just a moment and listen closely, you might hear a faint sound, a soft rustle, a quiet meow, the whisper of paws brushing against fallen leaves. It's the sound of life that lives in the in-between, the unseen world of the street cats. They are everywhere, though we rarely notice them. Behind supermarkets, in alleyways, under parked cars, or curled beneath staircases, they move like ghosts through the city's hidden corners. Some are fierce and wary, eyes bright and alert. Others are shy, gentle souls who once knew human hands, but were left to fend for themselves. Together, they form a silent community that survives between our footsteps and our walls. And so we ask, where do they go? When rain falls, when the wind bites, when the city sleeps, where do the street cats go? The truth is, most of them go nowhere. They stay. They crouch under dumpsters. They squeeze into cracks. They curl against cold concrete and hope the night passes quickly. Their shelters are not built of kindness or care, but of necessity and chance. A broken box becomes a home. A cardboard sheet becomes warmth. A forgotten shed becomes the closest thing to safety they will ever know. Yet, for all their hardship, there's a quiet dignity in the way street cats live. Watch one for a while, and you'll see it. The way she lifts her head to catch the wind's scent. The way he waits patiently at the corner where someone once left food. Their lives are fragile, but their spirits are resilient. They are survivors, not by choice, but by circumstance. Still, we must admit something uncomfortable. Street cats are not born from the wild. They are born from us. They are the children of neglect, the result of our forgetfulness. Some began as beloved pets, purring in warm laps, chasing toys on soft carpet. Then came a move, or a new baby, or simply a change of heart. A door opened, a cat was left outside, and never let back in. Others were born to those abandoned cats, never once knowing the comfort of a home, yet carrying in their blood the memory of domestication. They are, in a sense, our lost companions, shadows of a bond we once promised but failed to keep. And so, these cats wander. They weave between cars, dodge bicycles, and search endlessly for scraps. Their days are a cycle of hunger and risk. Many don't survive their first year. Those that do bear scars, the mark of battles fought for food, for territory, for life. But sometimes, amidst all the hardship, they find kindness, a hand that reaches out, a dish of food left by a doorstep, a shelter worker who traps them gently, not to harm but to help. You see, in the heart of this story lies a powerful truth, that small acts of care can echo far beyond what we imagine. When one person leaves a bowl of water out on a hot day, a life is sustained. When someone builds a simple shelter from plastic tubs and straw, a creature sleeps without fear of freezing. When a community supports trap-neuter return programs, generations of suffering are quietly prevented. It doesn't take much. It doesn't require grand gestures or it begins with awareness, with compassion, with the willingness to look beyond ourselves and see the quiet lives moving through our world. Imagine a city where each alley has a safe corner, where each cat has been spayed or neutered, vaccinated, and marked to show it will not contribute to the endless cycle of birth and abandonment. Imagine neighborhoods where people share responsibility for these animals, not as pests, but as part of the living fabric of our community. A world like that isn't impossible. In some places, it already exists. Volunteers go out at dawn with food, medical supplies, and patience. They trap the cats carefully, treat them, and return them to their territories, healthier, calmer, no longer adding to the problem. And slowly, the change begins. The yowling stops, the fighting lessens, the cats live longer, safer lives. They learn to trust, just a little. They begin to recognize faces, and for once, they are seen not as strays, but as living beings who belong somewhere too. But not everyone sees it this way. Some people think street cats are nuisances, messy, loud, carriers of disease. Others believe the kindest thing is to remove them altogether. Yet, studies and experience have shown that when street cats are simply taken away, more always come. Nature and neglect fill the void. The only lasting solution is balance, compassion paired with responsibility, care that doesn't just feed hunger, but breaks the cycle of suffering. And that begins with us, each of us. Because street cats don't need pity, they need partnership. They need communities that understand the quiet value of coexistence. They need people willing to say, "You belong here, too, even if not in my living room." There's something deeply human about how we treat the smallest lives among us. When we reach out to help a creature that can offer us nothing in return, we become a little more whole ourselves. Caring for street cats isn't just about saving animals, it's about softening the hard edges of our cities and of our hearts. I remember once seeing an old woman at the edge of a marketplace. Every morning, before the sun rose fully, she would appear with a small plastic bag filled with leftovers. She moved slowly, her back bent, her steps careful, and like clockwork, they came. Thin, cautious, tails low, eyes shining. She spoke to them softly, almost like a lullaby. They listened, they trusted her. She was their shelter in a world of shadows, and that image has never left me, because it reminded me that kindness doesn't need to be loud to matter. Sometimes, it's quiet. Sometimes, it's just the act of showing up. Every community has its own version of that woman. Maybe you've seen her, maybe you've been her, maybe you will be. The truth is, we all have the power to be a shelter, not a building, but a promise. A promise that says, "You are not forgotten." And yet, we also need real shelters, places with roofs and warmth, with medicine and care. Around the world, rescue groups and animal lovers are doing remarkable work, but they cannot do it alone. They need our voices, our hands, our resource, a donation, a bag of cat food, a few hours of volunteer time. It all matters, because for every cat that finds safety, there are 10 more waiting in the cold. If you've ever looked into the eyes of a rescued cat, you know what I mean. There's a moment when fear gives way to trust, when trembling turns into purring, when the walls between human and animal dissolves, and all that's left is recognition, an unspoken thank you that says more than words ever could. It's easy to think that street cats live outside our world, that they belong to the night, but in truth, they are part of our story. They walk the same streets, breathe the same air, feel the same sun, and in their resilience, they mirror something back to us. Our own longing for belonging, our own fight to survive, our own need for a place to call home. So where do the street cats go? They go where there is shelter, they go where there is kindness, they go where someone decided to care, and when they can't find those things, they stay in the shadows, waiting, hoping that one day, someone will notice. We can be that someone. We can turn shadows into shelters, fear into comfort, abandonment into belonging. All it takes is the courage to care in a world that too often looks away. As the night deepens and the city hums with quiet, remember that not all who wander are lost, but some are waiting to be found. The next time you see a small silhouette dart across the street, or hear a soft meow from a hidden corner, don't turn away. Pause, look, see them, because in that simple act of noticing, the story begins to change. And if you ever find yourself asking, what difference can one person make? Remember this: compassion is contagious. One bowl of food becomes 2. One shelter becomes a network. One rescued life becomes 100. The ripples spread, unseen but powerful, through communities, through generations. We live in a world filled with noise and rush, where kindness can feel like a small and fragile thing, but kindness, like a candle, can light the dark without losing its flame. When we care for the forgotten, we make the world gentle, not just for them, but for ourselves. Because at the heart of it all, this isn't just a story about cats, it's a story about connection, about how we choose to share this planet with every living being that calls it home. It's about recognizing that love doesn't have to be grand to be great, it just has to be given. So tonight, as you head home, and the city slips into its quiet hum, Think of the ones who walk softly through its shadows, the street cats, silent witnesses to our humanity. May we see them not as burdens, but as reminders that compassion still matters, that small kindnesses still count, that in a world that sometimes feels cold, we can still be the warmth. And maybe, just maybe, one day, when we ask again, where do the street cats go? The answer will be simple: they go home. Thank you.